We're going to watch a clip of Mcfarlane discussing one of these contract change orders where they hand out more money. And these particularly bug me because it's so common. I mean, all they do is hand out more money, more money. I mean, I don't even know why they bother to take bids on any of their work because the contractors could just come back and get more. And this is kind of interesting because he's going to explain some of that, and it's worth listening to because me being suspicious anyway needs to understand some of this. I know that they have uh, X amount of money, and I know that they know how to manage that money in the sense that they dole it out as they think they need to get rid of it. Okay, it's and there's not going to be a penny left. Believe me, the thing won't come in under budget. It will come in on budget. Okay, they're not be sending any money back to the feds or anybody else. But it's interesting the way they manage this money is like how they dole out as things get done and they see they have so much left in the contingency budget. And anyway, let's listen to this. I'll cut in where I think is necessary. He's going to explain why it's actually very good to hear this. I never did think there's any overt cheating going on. I think we don't know anything about these contracts. For example, we don't know how much profit is built into these contracts for the principal owners of Stacy and Whitback. We don't know anything about that. We know that they're getting $100 million, $200 million, $500 million, and that's all we know. We don't know how that money is how that money is trickling down to whoever. And I see them handing out millions and millions and millions, and then they're whining about my health care while they're handing out millions and millions, and it bugs the hell out of me. Anyway, let's listen.
Progressing very well on schedule and meeting all of its objectives. There have been some change conditions as we have proceeded in some of the areas of construction, and that really is the result of these two, or causes these two resolutions to be before you today. What we actually are proposing is out of an unallocated contingency of about $8.4 million that we allocate some to two existing contracts to address particular construction projects or issues that those contractors have met as they've completed their work or done their work. First of all, related to resolution ending in 23, that's the East Construction Manager General Contractor contract. Stacy Whitbeck is the lead, and that is the contract that really from OMSI all the way south to Oak Grove will construct all of the civil infrastructure. There are a number of items that have, if you will, required additional funding associated with its completion. One is subgrade stabilization, and that is that when we start a contract, we create an allowance of how much expected subgrade we're going to actually have to dig up and replace with solid material. That's always an estimate, and it has to be defined in the field in terms of making sure that the subgrade is up to the standard that we insist on. And again, we have overrun that category a bit in terms of this contract. We've added some fencing related to safety and other issues, and that when we add fence along a rail alignment, we also have to ground that fencing. So those are additional expenses. We've had some additional work related to the sewer system and the drainage systems that have caused us to require additional diversion of the flow during the construction period, which has created the need for more temporary works and additional pumping necessary during the construction. Much as with the subgrade, we've also run into a little bit more contaminated material as we've excavated for the project that requires special handling. And again, we started with a particular allowance for that, and that allowance has run over a bit. And then oftentimes, and this is frankly something almost predictable in these kinds of projects where we're working very close with adjacent property owners, it's very hard to predict perfectly what kind of back of sidewalk restoration we'll need to bring the property into proper alignment with the current sidewalks and making sure doorways meet and those sorts of issues. So All in all, that is a total of $2.2 million that we would request be added to the value of this contract. And so let me go on with the Ruby Junction modification, which is the second resolution the Board President noted. And there are really two particular areas of additional requirement here. One is additional utility requirements. And this really had to do with the additional PGE work, and this all sort of fed from permit requirements with the City of Gresham. We also had other permit requirements as we went to work on this project, and included some certain storm drain revisions, sewer work, and some lighting revisions. It all had to do with really the remodeling of 11 Mile Avenue that was as a part of the overall project. So this overall, related to this particular work, would also allocate about $1 million to this contract. So in total, I mentioned before, there's about $8.4 million of unallocated contingency. The two resolutions before you would leave $5.1 available at the end of the day. And again, we see no major issues with any of these contracts, no claims with any of these contractors, and we're, of course, anxious to complete the project with the budget that is ahead of us. So I and/or Dan and his staff would be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, makes sense, right? I mean, sounds all right, right? Sounds normal. I guess it would sound a little bit more normal if it wasn't standard operating procedure and they didn't constantly hand out more money to these people. You know, if I had a lot of money, I would be asking for more detailed information about these contracts, but the way TriMet has their public records department set up, you can't find out of anything because they set it up so it's expensive for you to get information from them. And I'm not interested in wasting my money on that at this time. I mean, sometime in the future, I'll have the resources available to actually pursue this on a more disciplined level.